Good morning. Lame Duck Donnie is screwed. Let's get into it. Yeah, folks. It's all the train is coming off the track. It is. Lame Duck Donnie is screwed. He is screwed, and they are flailing. They are flailing in every single direction. Several things are going on. Let's break them down. You got to forgive me for a second. I've got a producer here that is insisting on sitting here and staring at me while I do the show. There you go. Had to irritate her to get her out of here. Sorry, I can't do the show like that with a cat just sitting there staring at me. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. There's been some crazy shit going on. There really has. If you haven't been paying attention in the news, it is nuts. Got to call out some fellow folks on the left here for a second. There's a narrative going around right now that Musk-Bessent beat the shit out of Elon Musk, and that didn't happen, folks. It really didn't happen. Hold on. Did Musk-Bessent and Elon Musk have a physical altercation? Yeah, they did. They did. But it was back in April, folks. This isn't recent. Everybody's talking about Elon Musk showed up in the Oval Office with a shiner on his eye. We don't know where he got it. The guy abuses drugs, so hell, maybe he just face planted or something. I don't know. He said his son, his kid, hit him with a left hook. Yeah, I don't know about that. He had, if you look closely, it looked to me like he had bruising in his eye, his cheek, it looked like he face planted on something. But yeah, folks, this is the problem. Independent media is amazing. It really is. It is amazing. But the problem is you have to really find people that are committed to telling you the truth. That are committed to actually digging into something. It took me 25 seconds to debunk this whole, the shiner was from Musk-Bessent beating the shit out of Elon Musk thing. Here's the narrative they were pushing. That the human scab was he's in the middle of the back and forth between the bigots in the White House and the Stephen Millers and then you've got the business people with Musk-Bessent, and Steve Bannon absolutely hates Elon Musk. He calls him a useless immigrant and things like that all the damn time. So when the black eye came out, some people on the right just made some shit up. They Googled something. This is the way I think it happened. They Googled something where Steve Bannon had spilled the tea on the fact that Elon Musk and Musk-Bessent had a physical altercation, and then they didn't bother to read the article. This is the article, by the way, where Steve Bannon is spilling the tea on the fact this is what happened. They were outside Trump's chief of staff office. Things got heated. They yelled back and forth. Elon Musk pushed Musk-Bessent, and apparently Musk-Bessent pushed him back, and that's about it, folks. That's about it. There were some words exchanged. And what it goes down to is Doge is a failure. Doge is exactly what I've been telling you. You know, Elon Musk makes all these freaking promises, bullshit stuff. Every time he goes to do something, this is what he does. Self-driving is no different. The robo taxis, the self-driving, it is no different. He makes all these freaking promises. Oh, we're going to go to Mars, and we're going to this, and we're going to that, and Hyperloop is going to, end up connecting all of California, and yada yada yada. All this shit that he says, and it's bullshit. It never pans out. Nothing he's ever promised has ever panned out like he promised. None of it. So Scott Bessent called him out on it. He said, look, your Doge bullshit is exactly that bullshit. You said you're going to find $1 trillion in cuts. Skeet said, FYI, Trump's first wife, Ivanka's father, was a Nazi collaborator and apparently gave him his copy of Mein Kampf. You should look up who. So we know who Krasnov is. We've talked about that on the show, my friends. We have. But yeah, I lost my train of thought there for a second. So Scott Bessent, Elon Musk, they've got this huge conflict over Doge because Scott Bessent is trying to push these right-wing fever dream policies, and Elon Musk has Trump's ear. And then you've got the Navarros and just one idiot after another filling Trump's ears with just idiotic ideas. And Scott Bessent is trying to carry the water for Wall Street. And it's just a natural conflict. I told you, this can't work. It can't. Everything they try to do, and we're going to talk about that in U.S. Steel today, everything they try to do runs 100% counter to the people that actually write the checks in the Republican Party. Yeah. Are the billionaire backers bigots? Yeah. Yeah, they are. They are. But they are not Stephen Miller bigots. They're like, whoa, wait a minute. You can't deport my workers. You can't do that. None of this works. They can't keep their armada. They can't keep their ships sailing in the same direction. That's why I made the argument that Donald Trump, Dumb Donnie, the Taco Man, he was a lame duck from the moment November 5th, he became a lame duck because there was just no way for him to get all of his ships to sail in the same direction. And it's coming apart spectacularly, just spectacularly. Marcia Klepper, thanks for always being here, Marcia, one of the foundational supporters of the show. Morning, y'all. Going for my second cup. Second cup, man. I'm going on my third pot here. Woo! Telling you. I'm going to be doing the bladder dance here in a little bit. But yeah, speaking of bladders, ketamine Elon, it's been widely reported that his abuse has gotten so substantial. And again, you've got this infighting going on. You got Bannon that just absolutely hates. He's with the bigot crew. He absolutely hates Elon Musk. He sees Elon Musk as nothing more than a dirty immigrant. So he leaks every chance he gets. And Bannon still has ties to the White House. There are still people in the White House leaking to Bannon. That's how he was able to leak about this altercation between Bessent and Musk. But yeah, it turns out old Elon Musk has been pretty heavy on the drug abuse. So much so that he's sharing with people who are more than happy to share with us that his ketamine use has led to the destruction of his bladder. Folks, ketamine's no joke. It really is no joke. It was never meant for recreational use. Ketamine has basically two primary uses. One is as an analgesic, a painkiller. in severe cases. I mean, severe cases. It is burn victims, things like that. It is meant to be get crisis pain under control and then go to something else. It's never designed, meant, or deployed medically to be a long-term solution. Now, having said that, there is some experimentation going on with microdosing ketamine, not full doses. We're talking about microdoses, 1/100th of a normal dose for people with depression. Because what they found out is that not only did they treat in the emergency rooms that were having severe pain. Yeah, exactly. I love you folks for knowing as much as you do. Exactly. Ketamine is used in operating rooms and in emergency room. What they found out is not only did it help the pain, but people that were having chronic depression and whatnot also saw those symptoms alleviated. So they started experimenting with, people that tried to blow their brains out and failed, severe risks of suicide. They found that they were able to take and give these people a massive dose, one-time dose of ketamine, and it would alleviate their depression. And I mean, long term, it would change their brain chemistry. So, and again, this was not extended use. This was a one-time massive dose of ketamine, and it helped some people. It did. So there's experiments going on with microdosing, controlled microdosing, because it helps. It does. But here's the problem. Long-term use of ketamine will fuck you up physically. Let me tell you about what it does to your bladder. It shrinks your bladder and then causes raw inflammation in the tissue in your bladder. So that not only do you have that, I got a pee pain all the time, but imagine that pain if someone had reached in through your urethra and ripped out the lining of your bladder and you had a raw bladder going on with that pain. That's what Elon Musk is dealing with right now. It's not a good thing. I mean, it is really rough. Forgive me, I'm going to be muting and coughing every once in a while, and I'm going to be slurping a lot of coffee, muting and slurping coffee quite a bit. If you can't tell, I've got a little something going on. But yeah, I mean, it's really, imagine that. Yeah, like kidney stones on steroids. Yeah, exactly. Kidney stones ripping through your that's what ketamine does to your bladder with extended use. And we're not talking, oh, he abused it for 20 years and that happened. No. We're talking a year of abuse can do this. Yeah. Ketamine is bad shit. It really is. I don't know why we're so freaked out about, other fentanyl. And fentanyl is dangerous. Don't get me wrong. It is. But ketamine, you can't fix this. Once this happens to your bladder, if it's extreme enough, they remove your bladder. It never heals. I mean, imagine, it's infection after infection after, it's bad. I mean, it is bad, and it never heals. All they can do is say, stop taking the ketamine. That's rule number one. Stop taking the ketamine immediately. And some of the issues will reduce, but it never goes away. Okay. But that's not the only issue that's going on. This is the thing that bothers me about our corporate media. No critical thinking. They treat everybody like they're freaking MAGA morons and can't focus on more than one thing at a time. Jason Crow, thanks for the support, my man. I love to see new supporters here. The audience is growing. We're getting new, fresh people in here all the time. I'm really glad to see you here, my friend. I read that Stephen Miller punched Elon after finding out he was having an affair with his wife. Yeah, there's all kinds of shit going on that nobody can prove. I mean, ignore it. There's much more going on with Elon Musk than it looked like. I'm going to be honest with you. It looked to me like he face planted. The bruising wasn't just in his eye. There was some on his cheek and his jawline. You know, I've been in scraps before. I mean, folks, come on. There's scars over my eyes for a reason. I got, if you haven't noticed, my lip droops a little bit. Yeah, I've thrown hands before. I've got scars on my knuckles. I've thrown hands before. I've seen what faces look like. That to me didn't look like I got my ass kicked black guy. That looked like he took a face plant is what it looked like to me. Samita Fakeda, thank you, Texas Paul and Mrs. Texas Paul, for an hour of sanity in Texas, the state that is the origin of horrific government policy. Yeah, I have to tell you, the Republicans here suck ass. I agree with you. The Republicans here suck ass. But folks, what's being ignored is if this is happening to Elon's bladder, it's not the only thing that's happening. It's not. Ketamine doesn't just say, do we want to go to the bladder and fuck it up? Or do we want to go somewhere else? No. If his bladder's in this kind of shape, this is happening. 100% guaranteed. There is no ifs, ands, and buts about it. It's not, will ketamine do this? No, it is ketamine will do this. Scientific reports. I'm giving you this so that you can go back and Google this headline and read this article yourself, because I'm lazy and I don't want to have to put everything in the comments. There's the headline. Google it. It's a medical article. Read it. Effects of early ketamine exposure on cerebral gray matter volume and functional connectivity. Early being the important part. They're not talking about children in this article. They're talking about how quickly ketamine does this, and this is what it does. On the left is a drawing of a healthy brain with normal ventricles. This pink part being what they call the white matter. You've got your hippocampus down here. All of these things are critically important for sexuality, for just every function of your brain. Just a year of ketamine abuse, and they start to see marked declines in the gray matter, which is the outer portion of the cerebrum, the white matter underneath. The ventricles become huge. The hippocampus shrivels. And if you look down at the bottom here, these are actual brain scans, not a drawing, actual brain scans. You see before the ketamine, you've got the small ventricles here. You see the robust hippocampus. You know what I'm saying? You see, nice, full, plump. That's a sexy brain, man. And then on the right, you see the deterioration of white matter. You see the gray matter thinning. You see the ventricles have opened up because the white matter is shrinking. You see the hippocampus here is like toast. Yeah, that's what ketamine does. And apparently, according to reports being leaked out of the Bannon camp, this dude is going fucking nuts on ketamine, like huge nuts on ketamine. Folks, I've just got to tell you, I'm not some old man that's like, don't do them drugs. Drugs is bad. No, man. You want to smoke a little grass, do your thing, whatever. I don't care. I really don't care. But folks, you've got to listen to the doctors. You do. When they started abusing ketamine, every doctor in the country said, no, don't do that. Don't do that. This is not a good thing. But ketamine's cheap. And it feels good. It can be taken in multiple ways. You can smoke it. You can ingest it. You can inject it. You can, whatever your choice is. But doctors clearly said, no, this is a bad one, folks. Don't do that. But here's Elon Musk. And if you think that Elon Musk has gotten off the ketamine and isn't having a problem, this is Elon Musk in the Oval Office just day before yesterday. I don't want to hear Trump's voice, so I'm going to mute it. Just watch Elon Musk. Now, I can't diagnose somebody from a video, and you shouldn't either. But I can look. It's kind of like that question when somebody asks you, define pornography. So I can't define it, but I know it when I see it. I can't tell you exactly what's wrong with this man, but I can tell you something wrong with that man. That is not normal. This whole no, that's not normal. No. So yeah, again, the corporate media is like, oh, bladder issues. Somebody even made the comment. I remember who it is. If somebody knows who this is, let us know. But I remember saying, yeah, you're trusting this guy to take us to Mars, a guy that can't trust a fart, because it affects more than it causes other issues, similar to Adderall. And apparently, according to what's being leaked out of the Bannon camp, he's hammering Adderall too. So yeah. I just don't see this lasting a long time. I don't. And here's the problem, folks. You got people like RFK, another nutball. And this is what I'm talking about. Everybody's like, oh, Trump's going to be here forever. Oh, Trump's going to this. Oh, fear Trump. Oh my God, it's over. It's like, no, he's going to fail. He's going to fail. He's going to fail. He is. He can't keep his ships all sailing in the same direction. He can't, because first of all, the captains of all the ships are freaks. They're nutballs. You got RFK, talking about, drug use to treat mental health and this, that, and the other. He's not a doctor. He's never been a doctor. He's not. I point out about, Robert Kennedy Jr. I don't know why this is ignored. I don't know why the corporate media doesn't talk about this. It would be a great freaking story. But do you know what kind of shape you got to be in for a doctor to say, test that guy for mercury poisoning? You got to have the shakes, man. You got to have paranoia. You got to have emotional outbursts and loss of control. They don't just willy-nilly test somebody for mercury poisoning, folks. They don't. And you have to ask yourself, what the hell was going on with RFK, that they were testing him for mercury poisoning. And what's worse is this guy who's gone through the treatments for mercury poisoning, and I'm not saying this, he said this, he told us this, still screws up the science behind mercury in vaccines. Folks, let me just stick with me, okay? Stick with me. Just a quick Cliff's Notes, bare bones science lesson here. Shaking my head. I wouldn't think dragging a 4-year-old around everywhere in that condition is a good idea. Me neither. Me neither. I'm wondering where that kid's mommy is. LD, Tide, bless you. Well, thank you. I appreciate you. I can't do it without you, folks. I can't. I was thinking about you all today, man. I mean, I'm not, and this isn't kissing your ass trying to get people to donate money. It isn't, but I was using my Condé Nast All Access Pass today when I was doing some research on the tariffs. We're about to talk about the tariffs. You folks give me access to that. Do you think I would be able to go out and buy a Condé Nast All Access? That shit ain't cheap, brother. That isn't cheap. Anyways, thank you is what I'm saying. Thank you for allowing me to do this. But folks, I want you just a quick science lesson. There's methyl mercury and there's ethyl mercury. What poisons you and fucks you up? Pardon the expression. There'll be some cussing today. What got RFK treated for mercury poisoning? And again, use your head to think about what was going on with this guy that somebody said, test that guy for mercury poisoning. And folks, that's another one. That's like the whole ketamine bladder issue. Yeah, mercury poisoning don't go away. The damage is done. And I love you folks for knowing this. I love you folks for knowing this. I just saw somebody post on here, methyl is bad. Yeah. Methyl mercury is horrific. It's terrible. The way it gets in our fish is mercury is naturally occurring. It is, not to mention everything we do to dump it into an environment. But no, on the grand scale of things, it ain't us, folks. We don't help, but it ain't us. Mercury is a naturally occurring element. It is. Microbes eat it. Plankton eat microbes. Fish eat plankton. Every step of the ladder up there until you get to tuna. Tuna eats small fish. And tuna are long-lived fish. They live a long freaking time, right? So the longer they live, the more fish they eat, the more mercury, methyl mercury, builds up in their body. Now, I don't know how RFK ended up with methyl mercury poisoning, but it was enough. He claimed it was from eating tuna fish sandwiches. I don't know how many tuna fish sandwiches you got to eat to get there, but I would think it's a lot. Jeremy Breeden, his brainworm must have come out of a Cinnabar rich by. You guys kill me. You guys kill me. But look, there is mercury in some vaccines. There is. But it's ethyl mercury. Now, let me explain the difference. Methyl, you're just talking about the carbon atoms, is all you're talking about. Methyl is one carbon atom with 3 hydrogen atoms attached. That is methyl. Ethyl is 2 carbon atoms with 5 hydrogen atoms attached. It makes a difference. It makes a huge difference. The way your body chemistry works, it can deal with one, but not the other. It can't. Now, we've known this for a long time. Methyl is bad, ethyl is not. You know who knows this? Moonshiners. Moonshiners know this. When they the reason we regulate moonshine ain't just because government wants your taxes. No, it's because these you had these dumb hillbillies out in the woods making moonshine that didn't know the difference between methyl and ethyl alcohol. And they were blinding people and causing brain damage and all kinds of things. When they make a moonshine, there's what they call the head, the heart, and the tail. Don't ask me why I know about making moonshine. There's the head, the heart, and the tail. If you're making moonshine, what first comes out, that first gallon or two, is really high. There's always methyl alcohol in alcohol. All of it has methyl alcohol. It's the ratio of ethyl to methyl. Your body deals with shit that it don't like to deal with all the time from our environment. Our environment is always trying to kill us. It is. But in the beginning, when you're running when your pot is cooking and that first portion is really high in methyl alcohol and also acetone. That first gallon of shine that comes off your still is basically shitty paint thinner. It is. It's got acetone in it. It's got all kinds of chemical compounds. Tastes like shit. And really cheap hillbillies would just take it and dump it in a barrel and mix it with the rest, and people would go blind because your body can't deal with the methyl. The mid run is the heart of it. That's very low. There's high in ethyl alcohol. Whiskey, vodka, that's all ethyl alcohol, right? And the tail stock, it goes back to being high in methyl alcohol again. So you pour off the head and the tail and you keep the heart. So you get it, right? I mean, another example, sodium. Sodium is a very soft metal that reacts with water, has an exothermic reaction. You take sodium, it's a very soft metal. You add water to it. It off gases hydrogen, but the reaction is an exothermic reaction that is so freaking hot that it'll set the hydrogen on fire, and sometimes it'll explode. It's also very poisonous to you. So if you were to ingest sodium, not only would it set you on fire, but you might literally build up sodium hydrogen gas in you and explode. Not only is it poisonous, but it would set you on fire. Then there's chlorine gas. Chlorine gas. Stick with me. We're going somewhere. Chlorine gas. It was used as a weapon in World War I. You ever this is why they tell you don't use bleach in closed areas, because it off gases chlorine gas. Highly toxic. Stuff will kill you. But you know what happens if you mix chlorine gas and sodium together? Anybody know what you get if you mix chlorine gas and sodium together? Actually, Salty Slide Nature mixes it for us. And yeah, Jadu, 79. Table salt. You get table salt. If you mix chlorine gas and sodium, you get table salt. Does table salt kill you? No. So where I'm going with that is the chemistry matters. Methyl versus ethyl, not the same thing. Just because it's methyl mercury and ethyl mercury doesn't mean it's the same freaking thing. Methyl mercury enters your system and your body's like, what the fuck is this? Has no idea what to do with it. I love you folks. Even know the chemicals. Christine Kane coming in, rocking it. That's table salt, folks. Look. Your body gets methyl mercury in it. It don't know what to do with it. And it's got no way, no mechanism to get rid of it. It builds up in your system, causes brain damage. The first Chinese emperor, mercury was a huge deal. It was treated as more valuable than gold. It is rumored that he actually created a map of the world in his tomb And everywhere there's water in their known world is actually pools of mercury. He used to ingest mercury. It's reported that, historians have told us he used to ingest mercury and went nuts. Causes ringing in the ears, causes paranoia. It'll make you crazy. Veggie Owl Girl, where you chemistry? No, I wasn't. No, not at all. I just know shit. I just like to know shit. I learn. I go find people that are really fucking smart and I listen to them. That's what I do. But we're going to get off the science lesson. We are. AJC, I don't know. We're going to get off the science lesson. We are. But the point is, methyl mercury is really freaking bad. It is. And people are scared of when you tell somebody mercury, they're like, oh, that'll kill you. Oh, don't eat too much tuna fish. We've been saying that shit forever. Fish has mercury in it. Right. It does. Vaccines have ethyl mercury in them. You know what you do with ethyl mercury? You poop it out. Yeah. Your body knows exactly what to do with ethyl mercury. And you're like, but Paul, it's mercury. Yeah, but sodium and sodium chloride are not the same fucking thing, are they? No. One will, if I took a chunk of sodium and shoved it down your throat, it would set you on fire from the inside freaking out. But if I took table salt and just shoved it down your throat, you would just get mad and kick my ass. I mean, it's chemistry matters, and we can't keep letting the stupid people lead the chorus. Because this ketamine abuse, and this is where I'm going to land the plane, this ketamine abuse and stuff like that, it goes back to internet crap. It does. And I got to tell you, this whole Doge failure, not only is it submarining, just destroying Trump, because it's destroying the whole Republican narrative. Remember, government's bad. They just waste my money. Well, here you go, bro. Here's your open shot. What'd you find? It's so bad that they went in and I'll give you an example. FEMA has contracts. FEMA has contracts for disaster response. They go to, let's take water, canned and bottled water. They will go, there are not massive warehouses of water that's owned by FEMA. Why? It spoils. You can only keep bottled water for so freaking long. So what do? They negotiate contracts with bottled water manufacturers. Says, look, if something happens, I don't know, like tornadoes in Oklahoma and Kentucky, and we need a lot of bottled water fast, I need priority purchases, and we need to negotiate now a price. And the company said, okay, we'll do that. But I want assurances. So as assurances, the government said, we'll create a slush fund. When we sign this contract, we'll create a slush fund so that the money's there. We didn't pay anybody. All we did was create a contract for emergency response and set aside the money in case we need, one example is bottled water. We set a contractual price, and so we can respond quickly in the case of, sounds good, right? Smart. I mean, this is smart, right? Here comes Doge with their 19-year-old idiot in their AI program. And their AI program, which doesn't know its ass from a hole in the ground, says, that's $100 million contract that nobody's gotten paid on. But they canceled that contract. So now we have no disaster preparedness, which is going to cost us more money in the long run. And Elon Musk runs around saying, woo, Woo! Saved us $100 million. Woo! Saved us $100 million. You didn't save shit. You didn't save shit. That money was never spent. But the dummies that don't know the difference between, I don't know, sodium, chlorine, and table salt don't understand shit. They're like, oh yeah, man, saved that. I knew that government was bad. I knew that government was bad until a tornado wrecks their fucking house and there's no disaster response, which is happening right now today. That's really come out, folks. I mean, people are getting this. People are understanding. And it is really destroying Trump. Doge's failures are not only destroying Trump, they're destroying people like Musk-Bessent. Because remember, Musk-Bessent lives off government's bad, let us private industry people do it all. That's what Wall Street's lived off of forever. It's why they get away with their tax cuts, that where they keep just shoving the burden on us. It's why they get somebody that's on frickin' Medicare to vote for people that are determined to destroy Medicare because of this whole bullshit narrative. And he's destroying that narrative. And I told you, Elon Musk is going to end up being Mike Lindell 2.0. He is. And he is. He's on the outs. He is. Boom. He's out of here. That fight that he had with Musk-Bessent, Trump took Bessent's side. Why? Because Musk is making Trump look bad. People hate what Elon Musk is doing. People hate Elon Musk. His company is dying because people won't buy his freaking cars. And Trump ain't going under that bus for Elon Musk. I don't give a damn how much money Elon Musk gave him. He is not going to defend Elon Musk. So Elon Musk, like I said, we touched on this in the last show, is trying to put the shit back in the horse. He's leaving the White House, and he had disagreements with Trump, and he's going to try to write off all the shit that is pissing people off and saying, that wasn't me. Just the same way the Republicans are like, we didn't pass the tariffs. That's Trump, when it wrecks the economy over the next few months. None of these people are going to own this shit. And Musk is officially under the bus to the point where this happened. Musk's buddy that does business with him at SpaceX and, pretends to be an astronaut because, he's started a fee processing company, became a billionaire, one of those stock billionaires, he set up a side gig where he's getting government contracts, of course. This guy's living off government contracts, Jared Isaacman. Yeah. Teaching the military adversity. I shit you not. Teaching the military adversity. He's getting hundreds of millions of dollars in government contracts. And then he runs this boondoggle with SpaceX, where he did a spacewalk. He's one of the only civilians to ever do a spacewalk. Katy Perry goes to space bullshit kind of thing. Yeah, they wanted to make him head of NASA. Well, Trump is apparently pissed off enough at Elon Musk that, Isaacman is no longer going to lead NASA. Exactly what I told you, folks. Thank you for the support, Dick. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you always being here, brother. Exactly what I was telling you. These ships can't sail in the same direction because they're drilling holes in the bottoms of each other's ships. Their objectives, the port that they want to get to, are different ports. Elon Musk doesn't want Stephen Miller style deport all the brown people, because Elon Musk is one of the tech bros that lives off of bringing in foreign labor, India, Chinese, foreign labor, and replacing Americans that work for more money. Basically getting that slave labor. I did a whole segment on the show where they take the visas of these people and lord them over their heads, because if you don't work the 18-hour days and you don't do what, Daddy Warbucks tells you, they fire you, and then you get blackballed in the industry because how dare you not work your 18-hour day? So no other tech company will hire you, and you get deported. For cheap, they hire these people. That's the way it goes, folks. That's the way it goes. But it's not just the Doge failure. It's not just the immigration failure that's ripping this administration apart, and why it's lame duck Donnie from day one, Taco Man. It's this. It's this. Yeah, this just happened. And I know you got to be thinking, well, Paul, that's got to be a good thing, right? No, it's not. It's not. And the heads of these unions have learned to be grifters, just like Trump. Just like Trump. Let me give you some background information on that. Nippon Steel has been, by the way, if you don't know what Nippon is, Japan is not called Japan. There's nobody in Japan that calls Japan Japan. I don't know why we did that. I don't know why we just invent names for countries that don't fit, that aren't what they're called. Japan is called Nippon. That is, for you, Japan Steel, Nippon Steel. And maybe somebody can explain to me why we do that. It seems kind of shitty to me. But Nippon Steel is just like we have U.S. Steel. That's Nippon Steel. N says, hey, the new supporter, thank you here. Love you, Texas Paul. I hope Mrs. Texas Paul is feeling better. And mahalo for all you do. Thank you, my man. I'm taking it. That is one of my Hawaiian friends there. U.S. Steel's been in trouble. It has. It needs a bailout, is what it needs. It needs some zero interest government loans. That's what should have happened. But Nippon Steel's been trying to buy it. The heads of the unions have been selling to their people, their workers, that, oh, yeah, Nippon Steel's going to save us. If they buy us, everything will be great. It will not. It will not. That's the narrative, the narrator in the background talking about, when Trump says, I saved U.S. Steel, the narrative in the back, the narrator in the back is like, he did not save U.S. Steel. He didn't. He didn't. Here's a good article for you to read. Biden blocked the sale of U.S. Steel to Nippon Steel. Why? Why did he do it? Well, there were several reasons why. This is a huge one. You may remember not too long ago that the British government stepped in and saved one of its last steel foundries. Because it's a matter of national security. You have to be able to produce steel on your own territory. There are some things that you have to be able to manufacture at home. Just out of national security, you have to be able Uh, One second. I just saw a great comment there that is ahead of the conversation and exactly where we're going. Helen, love you for being so well informed. Thank you. She says Nippon acquired U.S. Steel, but 47 won't admit it. Yeah, he won't. And I know what you're saying. Well, Paul, you're giving a mixed message here. Is saving U.S. Steel a good thing or not? Yeah, it's a good thing. It's a good thing to save U.S. Steel. It's necessary. We have to have domestic steel production. But Biden wasn't going to approve that deal because what that deal does is it makes U.S. Steel go away. And Trump won't even admit that. Trump is spinning it to the stupids, the morons, the dumbest of the dumb, that U.S. Steel is going to be in charge. That U.S. Steel is going to be run from the U.S. and that he's got a, quote, golden share, which nobody knows what that means, that he's worked into this deal that allows him and the government, now get that, it allows him and the government to decide who the CEO is and who's appointed to the board and exactly what control. We don't really even know. And we don't know how that's going to work because the government organization that would regulate that and do that says, we don't do that. We never hold a stake in a company. That's not what we do. And I want you to think for a second what the Republicans have been saying forever. Every time we Democrats try to do anything, issue low interest loans, no interest loans, try to save jobs, this, that, and the other, we're commies. We're commies. We're Pinko commies. Socialist, you're a socialist. Forgive me, I do have a going on. Exactly. Paul here says, grease my palms. Great name, my guy. Great name. Grease my palms. You know this is going to be corrupt as shit. And you know who Trump is going to act on, whose behalf he's going to act on? Not the steel workers. No, he's going to squeeze Nippon Steel and they're going to bribe him. Just look at everything that's happened so far. Don't take my word for it, my opinion on it. Don't. Just look at everything Trump has ever done. The taco trades where he chickens out. He is not going to make Nippon Steel invest in U.S. Steel to make it profitable again. And, all this wonderful story that he's been selling the steel workers. No. You want to know what's going to happen? Trump's going to get his headlines, and this is going to happen. Y'all remember when Trump first got elected? Remember the Carrier plant in Indiana? You remember that? Trump said, you will not send them jobs to Mexico and this, that, and the other. And the workers were like, woo, Trump did it, man. Trump saved us. Where did those jobs go? Where did those jobs go? Mexico. Those jobs went to Mexico. And not only did those jobs go to Mexico, while the corporate media was on its knees filleting Trump, digging deep into that tank, this also happened in my neighborhood. Tyler, Texas lost its Carrier plant to Mexico. Folks, Trump's word is worthless. So what they're trying to say is that we're going to be in trouble. First of all, they're absolutely denying that Nippon Steel bought U.S. Steel. They're trying to spin it anywhere. It's a partnership. It's a merger. Well, yeah, it's a merger. It is. Just like every other merger where the parent company bought the subsidiary. Nippon Steel is the parent company. U.S. Steel is the subsidiary. Nippon Steel owns U.S. Steel. But they can't say that because then we just sold the last of our steel industry to a foreign government, which is exactly what Biden was trying to prevent in the first place. Janine, 2009, thanks for the support and thanks for being here. Thank you for being here. Glad to have our Canadian people here. Nippon does not like unions, so the money will go into the other U.S. companies they have interest in, and those steel workers are going to be out in the cold. Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen. Y'all are always so far ahead. Helen, thanks for the support. I appreciate you. Christopher Daly, thanks for the support. So, yeah, their narrative of, oh, it didn't happen, Nippon didn't buy U.S. Steel, it's a partnership, and U.S. Steel's in charge of U.S. Steel. No. You know who says that's not true? U.S. Steel. U.S. Steel says that's not true. U.S. Steel says Nippon Steel just bought us. And Nippon Steel does not like union. So let me tell you what's going to happen here. If you're a steel worker at U.S. Steel, let me tell you what's going to happen here. The same thing that happened at Carrier. They're going to take your contracts. Yeah, they're going to take your contracts. And then they're going to produce the majority of that steel in their overseas plants, just like Nippon Steel does right now. It may be Nippon Steel, but Nippon Steel doesn't make its steel in Japan. Very little of it. They make their steel in China. They make it in Indonesia. They make it anywhere that's cheap. And they're going to take your contracts and they're going to fulfill those contracts overwhelmingly with their cheap steel. And they're going to make a lot of money. And if you're not making steel to fulfill your contracts, what's going to happen to your hours at your plant? Metal Rabbit, super thanks for being here for supporting the show. I appreciate you. What's going to happen at your plant? They're going to cut back hours. Yep. And the old timers are going to retire and not be replaced. People that get hurt are not going to be replaced. And they're going to do it through attrition first. You know, just to let everything die down. Then when the company goes into distress because they've been taking your contracts and giving them to the parent company, well, then it's going to be an emergency. And they're going to be able to do whatever the fuck they want to do. Because it's going to be an emergency. Folks, if you're working at U.S. Steel, I don't know any other way to tell you, but you're screwed. This deal is exactly what Biden didn't want to happen. What Joe Biden wanted was a bailout. They wanted the U.S. government to back a restructuring of your debt because it's a matter of national security to have domestic steel production. But that made us commies. That made us socialists. And the Republicans didn't want that to happen. Now, you think all of a sudden the Republicans stopped fronting for Johnny Got Rocks and the Broligarchs? And they suddenly care about you and your unions? No. But what is going on and is a really disturbing trend within the unions is these old timers that are worth millions that are running these unions are more than happy to make the deals to fuck their workers. Lori Yates, this is not America first. No, it is not. It is not. Thank you for the support, Lawrence. And thank you for the support, John. And I appreciate you being here. I really do. Thank you. And I can hear it. I can hear what's going on. I can hear the responses. But the right wingers will say, but no, because look what Trump did. Trump raised tariffs on steel for U.S. Steel. Trump to hike steel aluminum tariffs to aid Nippon U.S. Steel. Yeah, Bloomberg ran that article, that headline. It did. And that's the narrative they're trying to sell. Here's the problem. Everybody down for your taco trades? Trump always chickens out. Everybody down for your taco trades? See, when you raise tariffs on steel, you strangle the U.S. economy. You do. You do. And I know what you're saying. And I know what you folks are saying. Well, before I get to you folks, let me finish off with what they're saying. Oh, no, he's really behind U.S. Steel. Those tariffs are going to save U.S. Steel. No, they're not. No, they're not. And they're not going to last because these articles are already coming out. See, the economy's already slowing down, folks. It's already slowing down. We saw a slowdown last month. This month, it's going to go negative. When the numbers come out for this next month, they're going to be negative. The ports are already dead slow. We know what's going on with the economy. And we're already seeing articles like this. The same people, AP, that carried water for Trump, that made all this shit happen, are covering their ass by running articles that say spike in steel tariffs could imperil Trump's promise to lower grocery prices. Well, not just grocery prices, it's every price. It is every price. Steel is baked into the cake in everything. I don't care if you're making plastic widgets. I don't care if you're making plastic toys. The machines you make them with have steel in them. Steel affects everything. Steel is like oil. You jack with oil, you jack with steel, you dirt in the economy. You do. So yeah, that deals with what the right winger is going to say. Oh, them good old tariffs are going to say, no, one, they're going to be a taco trade. He's gonna roll the tariffs back because the EU is already responding. I didn't even pull the article up because you know exactly what the EU is doing. They're already responding with their reciprocal tariffs, and then Trump's going to chicken out and lower the tariffs. Meanwhile, the executives over at Nippon Steel are going to be funneling those contracts to their supplier. Instead of doing what we should have done, which is what we Democrats wanted to do, which is just fucking bail out U.S. Steel. This isn't hard. A low interest or no interest loan. Restructure their debt. But no, that's commie. Really? You know what's really commie? It is saying that you're going to choose who the executives are in a company. Yeah. It's one thing for the government to say, I don't know, prosecute an executive that's breaking the law or something like that. That's one thing. It's quite another thing to say, we're going to pick. That's Soviet, man. That's what the Soviets did. That is literally what the Soviets did. They chose who ran everything, and it was a disaster. Because everybody Trump chooses to run anything is a disaster, and it fails. It always fails. He is a failure. I love that. I love that. I love that. Yeah, you got to tell me phonetically how to pronounce your first name, man. I'm going with Yao. You got to tell me how to pronounce that phonetically. I got to know. It's going to be like a brain itch if you don't tell me. But look, I know, and I know it's going to come from the left, but Paul, you said they made these tariffs illegal. They did. They did. Well, how's he doing that? How's he slapping more tariffs on if it's illegal? Different law. The law that he's using to do this hasn't been challenged in the courts yet. And that's what I keep telling you. That's what I keep telling you. This is going to take time, and they're going to lose. The laws that the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, IEEPA. Let me say that again. International Emergency Economic Powers Act. The tariffs they slapped on things, those are we're putting a 10% tariff on everybody. We're putting, we're slapping a blanket tariff on everything from Canada, and those all came under the auspices of the IEEPA. The judges took a look at that and said, the important word in the IEEPA is emergency. And you have no emergency. It's me. Thanks for supporting the show, man. I really appreciate you. Literally cannot do this without you. And we knew this was going to happen, folks. And this is why I keep telling you this stuff is inevitable. This was really widely understood that the moment this got challenged, it was going to fail. It was going to die. And no, the Supreme Court's not going to save Trump here. They're not. There's a great article here. Just put this title into your Google search and it will pull this article up. This is from the Brennan Center. And it will explain, and this was well before the ruling came out. And if you don't want to use the Brennan Center, there are tons of articles explaining this. Let me just get into it. Let me just, the IEEPA has a requirement. There's got to be an emergency. And you know what? Long-standing trade policy that you don't like or isn't serving you well isn't an emergency. It's just not. Now, there are emergencies like, say, I don't know, trafficking fentanyl across your border. Does that sound familiar? Remember how everybody was just, scratching their head? Why the hell? They use the narrative that, we got to get rid of all the immigrants because they're trafficking fentanyl across our southern border and yada, yada, yada. And then all of a sudden, the Trump administration started talking about Canada. Canada's importing that fentanyl. And Canada was like, we are? Really? Because they're not. They're not. But if they were, the president could say it's an emergency. We got to deal with that. And that is what they've been using as their basis through the IEEPA, International Emergency Economic Powers Act, to slap tariffs on Canada, blanket tariffs on Canada. And the judge called them out and said, that's bullshit. None of these are legal. None of these blanket tariffs are legal. And I know what you're saying. Well, you're contradicting yourself again, Paul. No, this isn't complicated, folks. It's not. All the tariffs under the IEEPA have been challenged. This is where we are in that process. The 100% went through. It went through, but the U.S. Court of International Trade already ruled on this. Then it went to appeals. The corporate media didn't explain to anybody, like we did in the last show, what the internet, the U.S. Court of International Trade is, how valid it is, what it is. They just said, Trump lost. But they went to really huge efforts to carry water for Trump, in that when it went to appeal, which you knew they were going to appeal it, the appeals court put a stay on the court's decision that all these tariffs were struck down. And if you follow this show, you understand exactly why they did that. That is what appeals courts do. And that's why, we had an instance before where we were talking about the appeals court was being overtly political because they acted completely against this doctrine. The Republicans judges were just being Republicans. They weren't doing what appeals courts do, because this is what appeals courts do. When something is challenged and it goes to an appeals court, they take a look at, okay, you've got to stay against these tariffs. You've struck these tariffs down. Pardon me, you don't have a stay. You've struck these tariffs down. If we allow everything to be the way it is, what's the most complicated situation to fix? Because if you lose your appeal, which we're not ruling on any of that, we're just saying what happens if you lose your appeal or you win your appeal. If the court's overruled on appeal and they've struck all the tariffs down, that is the more complicated of situations to fix. It just is. It is much less complicated to leave the existing system in place. And that's all they did. So they said, okay, we're going to issue a stay against your rule. No, they're not ruling on the merits. They haven't had the trial yet. They just always divert to what is the least mess. Forgive me. I'm sorry. Mandolia says, I'm remembering the Michael Keaton movie Gung Ho, and by the way, sad about George Wendt. Ain't that the truth? Norm from Cheers was also in that movie Gung Ho. He played one of the auto workers in Gung Ho. It's a great comedy, by the way, if you ever want to watch it. It's a late 80s, early 90s era comedy. It's really good. At the height of Michael Keaton's career. It's called Gung Ho. If you ever want to stream something, it is a good movie. Okay, so now you're following me, right? The IEEPA tariffs, all the ones they use for justification with that law, struck down. They have been struck down. They're going to lose. They're going to lose their appeal, and then they're going to lose at the Supreme Court, and those tariffs are going to go away, and we're going to have to issue refunds for everybody that has been subjected to those tariffs. Fortunately, it hasn't been much because we're in the middle of an economic slowdown. Hence, the ports are so quiet. And oh yeah, this one got me. Loretta Swit died. Here's to Hot Lips. Really showing my age, man. MASH was a huge part of my childhood and upbringing. Loretta Swit passed, by the way. But there was another law. There was another law. It's the Trade Expansion Act of 1962, which did give the president the ability to act, especially in emergencies, unilaterally. Is it forever? No. Does Congress have to act? Yes. Who gets to decide if it's an emergency or not? Well, the way it's supposed to work, which it's not working this way. The way it's supposed to work is Howard Lutnick, our Commerce Secretary, is supposed to do an investigation. Then they take that investigation and they give the results of that investigation to the White House, and then the president decides to act on whether something is an emergency. It's under Section 232 of the Trade Expansion Act of 1962. That's where you've been getting things like this steel embargo, these steel tariffs. What the Trade Expansion Act allows you to do is act against specific industries, not blanket. You see, the IEEPA was designed for emergency situations, and there is no emergency. Even under the Trade Expansion Act, Congress is supposed to act eventually. There are rules and timelines, but that law hasn't been challenged in court yet because, again, like I always keep telling you, this is going to take time. The cases have to go through the courts, and Trump is going to lose. You know why he's going to lose? Every tariff he put in place under the Trade Expansion Act of 1962 is going to be struck down. You know why? Because they're lazy and they're stupid. They didn't do an investigation in the Commerce Department to support any of these. These are all Trump's willy-nilly knee-jerk reactions, his grifts, his shakedowns, his taco trades where his buddies are making huge bank on the swings of the stock market. It's things like I'm going to pretend that I love the steel workers, so I'm going to let a foreign company buy our U.S. company, and then I'm going to pretend I'm helping the U.S. company by slapping a bunch of tariffs on things. That's not what the Trade Expansion Act of 1962 is for. It's a willy-nilly political act that he's selling to really dumb people. If you're a middle-aged white guy working for U.S. Steel and your bigotry is really important, you love Donald Trump. And if Donald Trump comes and tells you, I'm slapping a tariff on steel to help you, brother, you're like, woo, buddy, that's my guy. But you're going to end up just like the workers over at Carrier. Because the Republicans bamboozled you, man. Instead of doing what we Democrats wanted to do, which was really help your company, and really help it remain a U.S. company, it didn't. They sold it. They sold it off to Nippon Steel. And I'll let you in on a little secret. If Trump's bribe demands are too high, Nippon Steel can sell it. They don't have to keep it. This is a mess. This is a mess. And you know it's bullshit because, again, it runs counter to every narrative that the Republicans ever uttered up until this day. Could you imagine? I just want you to just post the comments. What do you think the Republicans would be saying if Joe Biden ever said that he was going to choose who the CEO and members of the board of U.S. Steel were? And even worse, didn't give any details. You know it's bullshit. There are no details to how this is going to work. There's simply speculation from people that are saying, well, I guess they're going to put a clause in the contract, the final contract that gets signed, that says that. But everybody in the Commerce Department that says we don't take stakes in company. So this golden share that he's talking about is not really a share in the company. Everybody's just trying to take common sense and apply it to a situation that's pure bullshit. I just don't know how to stress it to you. But yeah, it's all a grift. It's all bullshit. It's all made up. They didn't save U.S. Steel. They sold it. They sold it to a foreign company. And that foreign company is now in charge. And your jobs are going away. In order to muddy the waters of that very clear narrative, they slapped tariffs, more tariffs on foreign steel, claiming to help out, which aren't going to last. It's going to be another taco trade, another taco deal. And it's going to screw our economy, which is going to make demand for steel drop even more. Folks, this isn't complicated. It's, if you just look at it as they're always just making shit up and grifting. Trump has now put himself in a position. It's just like the Ukraine minerals deal. Trump put himself in a position to where he can say, bribe me. And he's going to be gone in a few years, and he knows it. And he knows it. And Republicans don't care. They don't care because this is the kind of people they are. I don't know if you caught what went on with Joni Ernst, the Republican senator from Iowa, but this was just awful. Let me play you the video of it. This was Joni Ernst. She did a town hall, and the people were telling her, hey, you're cutting Medicaid. You're cutting Medicaid. So she pulls this bullshit out about how it's just the immigrants getting Medicaid and they're not entitled to it. And a very upset woman in the back that happens to know that it's grandma. You slash Medicaid, it's grandma that gets hurt. I don't know what you're talking about these foreign people and all this other bullshit, but it's grandma that gets hurt. And this woman is obviously upset, and she screams out, people are gonna die. Listen to what listen to this.
When you are arguing about illegals that are receiving Medicaid benefits, 1.4 million, 1.4, they are not eligible. So they will be coming off. So
again, this is bullshit. It is bullshit. It is not people getting over. It's not people that shouldn't be getting benefits. It's not any of that bullshit. It's bullshit. Illegal immigrants don't qualify under Medicaid. They don't. Period.
So people are not, well, we all are going to die. So for heaven's sakes, folks.
Yeah, it doesn't matter that people are going to die because of what we're doing. It doesn't matter that we're going to kill your grandma because we're all going to die. I mean, that was some seriously heartless shit, man. That was some seriously heartless shit. And she just smiled. We're all going to die. It doesn't matter that I'm killing grandma. You know, it doesn't matter that, yeah, we're all going to die eventually. We are. We're not long for this earth, folks. But does it matter that if someone causes you to die sooner than you have to? I mean, to me, that kind of matters to me. I mean, you think that's pretty bad, right? I mean, that just gross soullessness. Like Billy Mays from OxyClean said, but wait, there's more. Next day, and I want to shout out to Keith Edwards. If you're not following Keith Edwards on Threads and Blue Sky, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're doing. Keith Edwards is everything Anderson Cooper was supposed to be. He's really good, folks. Give him a follow. Give him a follow. He's really good. But he shared this video. So this is Joni Ernst's reply to everybody being horrified that she would just be so callous. One second. Software glitched and it didn't share. This is her response to everybody being pissed off.
Hello, everyone. I would like to take this opportunity to sincerely apologize for a statement that I made yesterday at my town hall. I was in the process of answering a question that had been asked by an audience member when a woman who was extremely distraught screamed out from the back corner of the auditorium, "People are going to die." And I made an incorrect assumption that everyone in the auditorium understood that, yes, we are all going to perish from this earth. So I apologize. And I'm really, really glad that I did not have to bring up the subject of the tooth fairy as well. But for those that would like to see eternal and everlasting life, I encourage you to embrace my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Hello, everyone. I would like to take this opportunity to...
Yeah, that condescending bullshit. That smug twat bullshit. Joni Ernst can't read a room. She really thinks she's bamboozled everybody into thinking it's just them illegal immigrants getting on Medicaid. That's the only people getting hurt. No. It's kids, it's grandma, it's you Americans. We are the ones getting hurt. And she doesn't give a shit. That smug ass comment about, I'm glad I didn't have to explain the tooth fairy. Fuck you. This is who they are. This is who they are. They are shit human beings. 100% shit human beings. And if you are working now at U.S. Steel and you think somehow Donald Trump suddenly gives a shit about you, or the Republicans suddenly give a shit about you, you're fucking crazy. Your jobs are done. And there's nothing I can do about it. You know, we blocked this sale and you punished us for your bigotry. You didn't want to vote for the black smart woman. Well, you know, this is very painful for me to say as someone who has spent my entire life being pro-union, but fuck your job. You didn't just do this to you dumbass. You did this to us all. And I'm running out of give a shit for you fucking old white guys. When they take your Medicare, I'm not going to be the one sitting there, oh. When your job at U.S. Steel goes away, I'm not going to be, oh, let's fix that. Fuck your job. You did this to us all. We gave you a candidate that was intelligent. We gave you a candidate that was a fucking prosecutor, and you voted for a criminal. And you get these guys that are like Dana White from the UFC, that's Trump's buddy, that's like, oh, I can't believe if someone would hate you for how you voted, that just tells you everything you need to know about that person. Yeah. Fuck you. I hate you for the way you voted because you knew and you voted for your fucking bigotry. We gave you a smarter candidate. We gave you a candidate with a vice president that had actually served in the military. I mean, had a career in the military. Not just a short stint and got out. One of the highest ranking enlisted men in the military. We gave you every fucking thing, and you couldn't vote for her because it was a her and she was black. So yeah, Dana White, I fucking hate you because you're a piece of shit. Not because of the way you voted. I hate you because you're a piece of shit, which allowed you to vote that way. Let's not get it confused. It's not the vote I hate you for. It's what the piece of shit you are that allowed you to vote that way. This was not any other election. This was literally the prosecutor and the criminal. This was literally the we all do better when we all do better versus the they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Fuck you forever. So yeah, when I say when, not if, your jobs at US Steel go away, because that's exactly what they're going to do. Pay attention. They're going to take your contracts and they're going to fill them with their own cheap steel, and they're going to cut your hours, and then they're going to get rid of people through attrition, and then they're going to, when all the shit hits the fan, and US Steel is wildly unprofitable, they're going to say, well, look, they're wildly unprofitable. They're destroying our company. You have to let us take extreme measures. And every Republican in Congress is going to go, yeah, that's capitalism. That's capitalism. We need to do that. The same people, when the auto industry was dying, said, let them die. These are the people you rolled your dice and shot your wad on. And I'm sorry. I got nothing for you, but fuck you. Fuck you. Yeah, we're not going to break bread. I'm not going to kiss your ass to get your vote. I'm not. Either you're going to figure this shit out and you're going to pull your own head out of your ass and you're going to start voting in your own self-interest, or fuck you and whatever happens to you. Because I'm tired of fighting for the people that keep the lights on and the buses running and the government functioning for you. Remember, old Doge had free will, free run. Congress, the legislature, you had the executive and Trump, you had the judiciary, kowtowed, and they couldn't find all that shit they told you was there. They had free run. Nobody stopping them. Where's the fraud? Where's the grift? I do know you in North Carolina aren't getting your FEMA money. I guess you're the fraud. You right-wing idiot voters. Well, folks, we got a very important election playing out right now as this show is going on. We got about 3-4 hours left, and then we'll get the results. Presidential race in Poland is going on right now. Again, remember, Donald Tusk is the prime minister. He has the power, but the president isn't powerless. It's like I keep telling you, we may have a weak, corrupt, stupid president, but he can still do a lot of damage. Kind of the same thing. Not exactly, but kind of the same thing. You've got Carol Naraki, who's the right-wing freak, who's, he's endorsed by every, Hungary, Russia, you get the idea. Viktor Orban in Hungary thinks this guy's great. And you can tell who the corporate media thinks is going to win because all the pictures are of Carol Naraki. And he's running against Raphael Trzaskowski, the mayor of Warsaw, who is the center candidate. Not even, Poland has a political landscape a lot like ours. There really isn't much left. Everything that's center looks left because everything is so fucking far right in this country. If you're center, you look left, but that's kind of the same case in Poland. But yeah, that's happening right now as we speak. And I hope the information I've given you about the tariffs and Elon Musk and everything's been useful. Let's get some more people in here. Hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button. That will get us recommended to more people. I need you to actively recruit people into our base. I need you to actively recruit people into our base, because power comes in numbers, folks. Power comes in numbers. They'll respect you together. Individually, they will not. Even our side. Nobody's going to listen to you if you're off singing your own song. But if you're part of a group, if you're a ride or die Democrat, if you are Texas Paul Pothead, and we say this is what we want, people take our phone call. So get out there, recruit, make it happen, get involved with your local Democratic Party. Why? You show up, you say, I'm here to help. How can I help? Texas Paul sent me, by the way. That's a flex. That's muscle. That tells the Democratic Party they've got to take us fucking seriously. So let's get it done, folks. In the meantime, enjoy some Texas cities at night.